the opposition and his family have one of the best healthcare plans in the country. I met a mother who told me she could barely think about anything except for how much the medication and devices cost her daughter with diabetes. She was 3 or 4 years old. I don't know how anyone could look that little girl in her eye and say that she doesn't deserve access to life-saving medication. Why does the member think that he and his family deserve coverage and this family and families just like them across Canada don't?
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. Hey gang, what's up? Just Ehren right here, question period, Canada. Do we recognize Laurel Collins from the introduction? She's a nut job that is an MP with the NDP party. She always seemed a little suspect, but the other day she came crashing down. There's a piece of it, but there's way more. Like, watch this lady flake out. She loses it. Not many times do they lose it this obviously. This one's pretty obvious. Let's take a peek at Laurel Collins, hippy dippy, flaking out.
The honourable member for Victoria.
Across the country are in support of universal Pharmacare and the delivery of diabetes medication to Canadians. The leader of the opposition and his family have one of the best healthcare plans in the country. I met a mother who told me she could barely think about anything except for how much the medication and devices cost her daughter with diabetes. She was 3 or 4 years old. I don't know how anyone could look that little girl in her eye and say that she doesn't deserve access to life-saving medication. Why does the member think that he and his family deserve coverage and this family and families just like them across Canada don't?
Bravo. To answer, the honourable member for the Leader of the Opposition.
Well, first of all, if the member thinks that parliamentarians have too good coverage, she can put forward a motion to cut it back. But instead what she's done is to propose to cut back drug plans for everyday Canadians, particularly unionized Canadians. Roughly 90% of Canadians have some drug coverage. But the bill that the NDP and Liberals have put forward requires a single payer. Single payer means only a federal government plan. So she would ban private and even provincial plans and replace them with a federal government plan, a government that cannot even figure out how to deliver a passport would suddenly become responsible for providing you with drug coverage. How does she look hard-working Canadians in the eye while she promises to take away their hard-won, collective bargaining, secured drug coverage?
All right, I want to take the opportunity now to invite everybody to like, subscribe, share, get notified, all those fun things. We watch every broadcast of the daily question periods here live. We've got a fun chat room, a great community. Come and join us. But we're going to check out Laura Collins again. This is the same day in committee. She has a different top on, but like she has the same mind, which has been lost. She completely goes crazy here a few times in committee. I don't know if this is how you want your MPs behaving. I'm not sure that I could trust this lady to feed my cats. Like, she's a weirdo.
I guess I want to start off by addressing one of the comments that was made by the witnesses around climate hysterics. Hysteria, it refers to something that is wildly emotional. It comes from the Greek word womb, of the womb. It is used in ancient Greek to refer to things associated with women. And I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral. The degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls. And I am wildly emotional. This is the existential crisis of our time. And to hear that we're asking for high ambition is climate hysteria, that makes me wildly emotional. Absolutely. You know, when I think about my womb, you know, the 2 children that I bore from that womb and what future we are leaving them, I am wildly emotional. And it's not surprising to hear this from someone who has written articles that are pro-life. I think that we need to think about the intersection of gender and the climate crisis. And I hope that the people around this table and the people listening will refrain from using language like climate hysteria.
Okay, gang, what do you think? Laurel Collins, is she a bit like on edge? Is that how you want your MPs representing your area or just behaving in general? It's concerning just to see any professional person out there in public behaving and speaking like that. She'd be aware that that stuff is being nationally televised, and my oh my guys, she comes off like, well, you tell me how she comes off. Leave it in the comments. Like, do you think that she's a little loose, a little wacky, a little wacko? She took it very personally with Poilievre back there, and he seemed to have all the right arguments. Laurel Collins continues. Let's take another peek, guys. On the edge.
Yeah, again, it's not surprising to me that the Conservatives have spent most of their time asking questions about divestment to someone who is maligning the divestment movement. Young people are using so many tools, whether it is divestment, engagement, or activism, and they're trying to use whatever tools they can right now in the face of a climate crisis. It's not surprising also that, the climate neo-denialism, that we don't have to be that ambitious, is aligned with folks who don't fully support a woman's right to choose. It's also, to me, telling that the Conservative leader has refused to say whether he would scrap the industrial carbon price.
Let's take one more look at Laurel Collins and see if you notice anything about the way she dresses. They're always the same top guys, and she's always a little flaky. This is a little bit from previously, like a couple of days before, from the House of Commons, but she always wears the same sleeveless shirt. And the way she talks, man, hippy-dippy-dippy. Let's take a peek at Laurel Collins one more time.
The honourable member from Victoria.
Mr. Speaker, families saw their homes burned to the ground in northern British Columbia this week, and summer hasn't even started. Yet the Conservatives don't seem to think that climate change is real. Yep. And this environment minister offers up nothing but empty words and delays. Yeah. The Liberals refuse to invest the $1 billion needed for a BC watershed security fund that would prevent wildfires and save lives. They knew this wildfire season was going to be devastating for communities, yet they're leaving British Columbians to fend for themselves. Will the government fix their mistake and immediately establish a BC watershed security fund?
Yeah. The honourable.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. So we're gonna wrap it up right there. What a crazy all these committee videos, guys, they are wild and crazy. They're fun to watch. Like, if you're an interested Canadian in federal politics, it's happening right here in committee all the time. We bring you as many videos as we can. Like, subscribe, share, get notified. We do a live show. It's fun. Come check that out. Check out one of the other videos that are floating around. That's gonna be fun too. That's it. Thank you for watching this one. We'll catch you at the next committee video. There's always something interesting to share as we learn about Canadian federal politics. Catch you next video.